Hello. I did this video once, but my phone turned off in the middle of it, and it's really annoying. So, I think this is gonna be an idea. I'm just making it up. It was just at the top of my head, and I'm just gonna be dabbling in a few what ifs. You tell me what the what ifs you like, and I'll make it. I'm just gonna be dabbling in what ifs for now. I might, after a while, if I find one good enough, and I'll make it. And this is a what if Deku had a fusion quirk. So basically, it just allows him to fuse objects with his body, strengthening it based on the object's properties. Say it's a knife, with just a swing of his arm, it's kind of like his arm has become a blade, or his hand, whatever. And maybe like a whip, he would become more flexible. Let's say a plant, instead of like regular fusion, like he can really, well, he would become harder, but he could release the wood to create like a block an attack, but it would also be made out of wood, unless he condenses the wood down, of course. He can also manipulate its shape when he's releasing the wood, of course, and stuff like that. So basically, this would let, and his family would go camping out a lot. And at the age of 4, he would go camping, of course. As always, he would just wander around as he runs into a deer. As he starts to play with the deer, and he starts to like the deer, they became friends. But then, of course, a quirked wolf jumps out, attacking the deer. This wolf's quirk was just a minor enhancement. Nothing too special. As Deku would see this, as he would start to run, the wolf chasing after him. Of course, the quirked wolf would have been easily able to take him on or kill him. But he decided not to. And he was toying with him, like playing with his food, until he would be led to an edge or a ledge of a cliff. But, of course, there's the ledge, but there's nowhere for him to just fall off because there's a boulder blocking his way. Izuku would, well, he wouldn't have that kind of thoughts at such a young age, but Izuku would back up onto the boulder, and his back of his hand is touching the boulder. As the quirked wolf would jump and try to attack Izuku, but right before it could attack him, there was a bright light that just shined out as the boulder just kind of disappeared. No one knowing what really happened, but of course, the wolf would bite down into Izuku's shoulder, as his shirt would be ripped. Small scratches would be made into his skin, but nothing serious. It did even penetrate him. It's just a couple small scratches. But the quirked wolf's teeth was damaged. As Izuku saw a chance as he grabbed the wolf's fur and then threw him. Okay? I'm just making sure. The quirked wolf was threw off the edge as Izuku was kind of in awe, as he was like, did I awaken my quirk? Is this some kind of strength enhancement quirk? Oh my god, I can be like All Might. Because he still kind of has those fantasies. He's not gonna be to such an extent as inside canon, as he was kind of like so obsessive over All Might in canon because he had no quirk. And he had no strength, and he looked up to the people with strength. But his body couldn't handle absorbing or fusing with an object as large as the boulder. So the boulder would come shooting out of him. well, more than one rock shoots out of him, and they're all squares. It starts to hit the side of a cliff as the cliff would start to shatter and break as Deku would fall. Since he was so young, his body couldn't handle absorbing that much or something like that, as he would pass out mid-air and not even feeling the pain of crashing into the ground. Luckily, nothing bad happened to him, and he wakes up inside a hospital bed. Well, basically what happened is just that his mom and dad heard the crash of the rubble. They went to check it out. They seen the dead quirked wolf and seen their son at the top of the pile of rocks. So, Izuku would tell them what happened, and they would call upon a quirk doctor. The quirk doctor would do scans on his body and tell them that Izuku Midoriya has a fusion quirk. It allows him to fuse with different objects, and as he fuses, it would take up a certain amount of stamina. It also takes a certain amount of stamina just to release that, of course, object. So, and he would state that. That, of course, as his body matures, he'll be able to handle more objects, and he also has to train his physical body more. And basically, stuff like that, and add blah blah blah. Sciencey stuff. Just basically know that Izuku's OP. But Izuku, when they went home, Izuku admired wanting to be a hero. He wants to become stronger, of course. So he'll settle down and be ready. As he would kind of, go into his book and he would write down certain things. He would be training his body from now on. A couple of days later, he would head to school, as he would tell everybody that he got a quirk. And of course, Bakugo didn't have his temperament as usual, because he didn't get his quirk yet. So Bakugo would be the first one like, "You got your quirk already? It's not a mutation? What kind of quirk is it?" Deku would state that, of course, it's a quirk that allows himself to fuse with different objects, enhancing his body. All of them were amazed, because that's an amazing quirk. But Bakugo just kind of had to ask, to what scale? Is it kind of weak scale, or is it really high scale? Izuku would say that it enhances his body a lot, strengthening his body a lot. So I would say it's high scale, to a high amount. And it takes up stamina on the things I feel with, depending on their size. That's the only drawback. And if I absorb too much, everything will come shooting out of me, and my body will injure itself a little bit. And that's the worst that could happen. And he would also explain that if he absorbs something like a rock, his endurance and stuff like that would be enhanced. If he absorbs a blade, his body can act, or his arms and legs can become more sharp and precise attacks. Kind of more like a slash. It can do more of that. Of course, he would asked his mom to buy a couple whips and a couple blades. And she would kind of know what's going on. And she would comply. As Izuku would train his body to be more flexible. But he would have muscles, but it's really dense. But it's not... Let's say his physical strength is a little bit less than... Like, his base physical strength is a little bit less than this... after the training with All Might. By the point after, like, 3 years. But his body... No, after, like, 5 years, his body will be at that point. But, of course, he has certain things that can enhance his body, so... He doesn't need the best physical body. But his main focus for those years was... making his body flexible and using his and making techniques to use his flexibility to his advantage. Also absorbing knives and whips, making himself even more flexible, and his arms are like sharp knives slicing through the air. That's kind of like the fighting style he's gonna go with. A really flexible body that can slice through anything. As everybody would admire him, because obviously, Bakugo got his quirk by this point, and he got cocky, but he's still still cocky, but not as cocky. But he not admires, but acknowledges Deku's strength. He didn't do that much, at least, because Deku had his quirk before him, and he could understand before he was cocky, so it helped him a little bit with his attitude. And basically, Deku would train more and more throughout the years. And let's say it's before the 10 months, as Deku would... body will be at a point where he can do really flexible things with ease without any like whips or any flexible objects fused into his body. And let's say if he's holding a knife, if he has like blades and really sharp blades, he can kind of like do like an outside fusion, which he can fuse with the things outside of his body, right? As the knife will grow sharper depending on what he has fused into his body. But I'm basically gonna end that here for today. I hope you guys like it, and bye. See you guys in the next video.